Class, welcome to week 4. It's a busy week this week as you will be turning in your project 1 and starting on instructions for project 2. The the topics this week will help you in starting project 2. We've moved over to uh, website building now. And excuse me, we'll spend a couple weeks specifically on how to design your website. So the two topics this week are choosing a site builder and choosing a host. So we will be doing more weighted decision matrices as you started last week, and essays for each of these topics as well. So let's jump into choosing a site builder. If you think about building a website and you compare it to a physical building, a location, your host is like the land that you purchase, the land on the internet, we'll say. And the site builder is the construction of the actual building or the actual what people will see. So think about host and site builder in that context. For a site builder, we'll have different options depending on your level of comfort and with coding, with different platforms. There's some very simple uh, site builders on which you can build a website. There's some complexities you can take advantage of if you're comfortable with some coding, and you're even able to build a website from the ground up if you'd like. So I'll just talk through a couple of those options, and this assignment is really to explore what might work for you. So the first category is a site builder. So you've got Weebly.com, Wix. These are probably the two most common. There are plenty of other site builders. These are called drag and drop site builders because you can choose a prefabricated template and switch things out the way you want. You can start with sort of a blank template and drag different components on there. Like you want a picture here, you want a video here, you want a text block in this location and a link here. So you can. It's meant to be a beginner's level design. I have used both Weebly and Wix. I think they're great platforms. And again, there are many others. Feel free to find your own options. It certainly doesn't have to be one of these two. The next category is a content management system. And this will allow you to start again with a template if you'd like. But there's a little bit more customization that goes into these. It usually requires some knowledge of HTML and CSS, which are the coding languages on which you build a website. And so you'll do some customization with those. The most common example is WordPress. I will tell you, I don't personally recommend WordPress for this class. I have used WordPress, I've built sites in WordPress. It's a robust platform, but I've just noticed a trend in teaching this course that it struggles at times. Students tend to struggle with integration of Google Analytics, Google Ads, some of the basic things we need to do. Students tend to be on the phone with WordPress to try and get that figured out. I haven't noticed it as much in the past couple semesters, so it's possible that improved. And some students are simply comfortable in WordPress. You can certainly use WordPress. I'm not saying you can't, but if you haven't used it before, I will caution you that it can be time consuming. But there are many content management systems that are available to use. Squarespace is another very common one. Shopify. So there's a lot of different platforms you can use for that. And then finally, if you'd like, you can develop your own website. Dreamweaver is the most common. That's what I've used to build websites when I was designing these from the ground up. You can use another platform of your choice if you're comfortable with that. I won't walk you through too much of that because if you're comfortable building websites from the ground up, you likely know what goes into it, how time consuming it can be, but how enjoyable it can be to have a completely blank slate and build it the way you want. So those are your three different options. When you create your quantify and compare spreadsheet, you do not need to include one of each of those categories. What you need is three tools that you will research and decide on, and three criteria in your decision matrix. They can all be from the same category, or you can compare one CMS to two drag and drop site builders. Whatever's easy, whatever is most relevant to your decision. And then you will need an essay to go along with that. Note that it needs to be at least 150 words in length. What we're really looking for is which one of the three you're going to choose and why you chose it. Explain why you chose the criteria that you did. That will be it for choosing a site builder. You'll have your discussion board with that, and then you'll have your second topic, which is choosing a host. Please remember as you're looking into this, historically, hosting and site building were two completely different products and two totally different companies. Now, many hosting companies and site building companies have combined. So for example, if you purchase Wix as a site builder, they are both your site builder and your host. And Weebly will run the same approach. So you may purchase both at the same time. These are separated for a couple different reasons. If you choose a content management system, typically you need to have a separate host, and certainly if you're building the site from the ground up. However, it's good to understand the different functions of these, even though for you may be purchasing a product that combines both of them. So there are some readings here that will walk you through the different elements of a host platform. And then when choosing a host, it's important to remember you want to look at how Google Analytics plays into the host platform. That's what drives a lot of the function of Google Analytics. You want to make sure that it supports a third-party payer function. We'll need that for our websites. But besides that, I have found most host companies' product to be pretty similar. What has made the difference for me is their customer service. So I always try and focus on customer service when I choose a host, because the host's job is to make sure that whatever content you put in through your site builder is readily available. And hosting companies have become very effective at this. So in essence, you will research different hosting companies, and you will find three different hosting companies to compare. You'll have three criterion in your weighted decision matrix and your quantify and compare spreadsheet. Sorry, I use those terms interchangeably, and I should explain that from the beginning. The course calls it a quantify and compare, which is the assignment we use. It is a weighted decision matrix, and that's something that will apply to various opportunities in your career. Then you'll have your essay to go along with your decision matrix, and you'll need to answer the following questions. And so there's questions here that you'll answer for this essay, and that will be it. So those are your first two topics. We will jump into this last one here, which is Project 2. Project 2 is I think the title is self-explanatory. You will create a website. You'll use whatever site builder or host of your choice, and you will put together your own website design. This is a pretty exciting project. And so to complete this project, there are different tasks. I find it simpler to explain if we go down to this last section, which is the grading section. The different tasks you'll see are steps you need to take to get your website up and running, visible to all the world, and different elements you need on it. But those I think are better summarized in the grading. For full credit, you need to have a website with its own domain name. You can create a free website right now on Wix or Weebly, but the domain name will say your website name .wix.com or .weebly.com or .wordpress.com. And so there's a lot of different, you can create a free website on any of those platforms. But for this class and to allow Google Analytics to function as it should, and everything else Google Ads as well. We'll run Google Ads later on in the semester. For those things to function, you need your own domain name, and so you have to purchase that domain name. And then it will just say your website, whatever title you choose, .com, and that's how you know it's your own domain name. So you need that as part of your website build. Then you need most of the necessary pages, navigational links, and some attempt at design. It does not have to be beautiful when you launch this. When you first launch, no one will really be able to find you online. We'll market later on to drive traffic to your website, so it doesn't need to be pristine and perfect. It just needs to have. I just need to see where you're going with the design, and you've got to have most of those pages on there. So your home page, your about us page, your products page, a contact us page, those types of pages. And then finally, integration with a third party to enable financial transactions. You could have a credit card function right there designed by Wix. You can have your affiliate links. You could have a number of different approaches to this. You can have a PayPal button. We'll do a PayPal assignment next week to allow you to have that functionality if you need it. But those are the three elements of this project. If you're missing one, you'll have 88 points. If you're missing two, you'll have 70 points. But it's easier to focus on project 2 in that context. These tasks up here, tasks 1 through 5, will teach you how to get there, but that's really what you're assessed on, are those three components. And that will be it. You'll have your reflection this week. So again, as I mentioned, a busy week, but definitely an exciting one. It's fun to move forward, have a business idea in hand, and really start to bring it to life right away. I'm excited to see how your websites come about.